Bernie. So this is the latest from Richard Linklater, who continues his reputation as the most predictably unpredictable of American filmmakers. If you look at his recent works, I mean, you look back, there's things like there's Me and Orson Welles, which I really like, filmed in the Isle of Man, which is this strange coming-of-age story told against the story of Orson Welles. You get Scanner Darkly, which is an animated science fiction romp, Fast Food Nation, which is somewhere between documentary and drama, Before Sunset, which is a rom-com sequel, that and Before Sunrise, and then, of course, School of Rock, which is where we began the programme about what the guy's name was, whether or not it's Ned Schneebly or it's Dewey, isn't it? He's called Dewey Finn. So that starred Jack Black. Here, Jack Black picked up a Golden Globe nomination for his role here as Bernie, the central character, who is an undertaker who becomes the confidant of a rich and much disliked woman played by Shirley MacLaine. Here's a clip.
One time I got 4 teenagers to rededicate their lives to Jesus, but eventually I realized I was meant for other equally important things.
Oh, please, Bernie, touching all those cold-blooded bodies, please. Don't you think you were meant to do something more?
No, Mrs. Nugent, it isn't bad at all. Their souls are already with the Lord by the time I'm involved. It's just my way to serve and show respect for the lives they led and comfort all the loved ones that they leave behind.
Well.
And someday, if I'm lucky, many, many years from now, I will give you such a beautiful funeral with all the roses in East Texas. I know it'll be the event of the season in Carthage.
Why are you conducting?
That was Eine kleine Nachtmusik, I think.
Oh, okay, fine. And you, as soon as you hear that, you absolutely have to start conducting.
I do.
You just positively can't help yourself.
Air guitar, if it's a rock thing, and I have to conduct always. And I think that was a nice bit of Mozart.
Very strange. Okay, so anyway, you could tell from that there was there's a Blackley comic edge to that. You know, yes, we're very good friends, and what I would really like to do is be the person that that oversees your funeral. I'll give you the best possible funeral. The story, which is based on a true story, is absolutely jet black in its comedy. And then what happens is, I don't think this is giving, actually, in the realms of not, I don't know whether this is a plot spoiler or not, so I'm not even going to say it, but essentially what happens
what aren't you going to say?
The story turns to criminality in a very, very dark way, and yet all the time, and as I said, this is based on a true story and therefore has talking heads, has characters, doing that kind of faux reportage thing, as if they were talking in an actual documentary. We were talking about documentary just a moment ago. It looks at this event, but it does it all with Jack Black as this strange, smiling, mortician who has a particularly dark side, at least for one moment. And what the film becomes is a sort of jet black comedy about death and about murder and about small town life and about the way in which public sympathy is and isn't engaged and the way in which people can become local heroes in the most absurd and most, as I said, blackly comic ways. And at the centre of it...
Blackly comic when you've got, Jack Black in the lead role.
Yeah, Jack Black, he's blackly comic. But I mean, it is essentially a jet black comedy about true crime and death. And it wouldn't work half as well as it did were it not for the fact that Jack Black is really good in the central role. One of the things that Jack Black became really annoying for doing was doing Jack Black. Just coming on stage and doing that kind of wacky, zany, fast-talking, slightly slappable...
Or just do School of Rock again.
No, School of Rock was brilliant.
Yes.
But School of Rock was brilliant because actually I think that he is great in School of Rock. But if you look at him in other things, like, for example, that Gulliver's Travels film, whatever it was called, was it called Gulliver? The great...
I know the thing.
That thing. And he was just doing the Jack Black thing. What's interesting about this is that he's reminded me, that when he's asked to do something rather different, which is to do with reining things in, which is to do with toning things down. I mean, the centre of this film, and I think the poster for it as well, is a picture of him with this sort of slightly beatific and slightly psychotic smile on his face, smiling at the post, which is one of those posters that tells you, it's weird and dark and strange. And when I saw it, I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about whether this was a real case, whether there was any historical background for it. I mean, I didn't even know what genre it was. I knew almost nothing about it at all. And that was perhaps the ideal way of seeing it. It would be pretty hard now to, I've tried as much as is possible to not give away any more than absolutely necessary. And probably I think all the other reviews have said a lot more than that. If you liked Jack Black, for example, in the film of High Fidelity, if you like Jack Black when he's doing something other than just doing the loud, crazy, zany, pick of destiny performance, this is him doing some of his best work. It is I'm a huge Shirley MacLaine fan anyway. It is a mordant, morbid comedy in a way that works better than one would expect it to, considering the subject matter.